Howdy hobbyists, I'm Gregory Beck with Treetop Hobby Woodworks, and today I'm going to give you kind of a shop update. Back in March we decided to go ahead and purchase a mill and start a wood shop kind of from scratch. You've been on my shop tour, then you know kind of what I'm dealing with as far as trying to accumulate things as low a cost as possible and building projects, wood projects out of nothing, and at the same time learning to use the mill as a custom cut mill to try to be more involved in the woodworking community, make a business out of it, and try to generate income. I guess the first thing and foremost is, are we making any money yet? No. I've made all of about $525 off the potting bench, which I did a whole video on. Please check it out. And that was great. And every experience I've had has been great. We've built birdhouses. We've built the typical, very run-of-the-mill cedar planters. Those things are all successful in my mind. We sold 7 of the 9 planters we built. And those are all good things. And most importantly, I'm learning or relearning the trade of woodworking, and it's not been easy. I'm using what tools I have, or what tools I can scrounge, or what tools I can beg or borrow. But that's all good and fine. It's been difficult. We had a tragedy. When I say we, primarily those people that have faith in me doing this, including family, friends, business partners. But the tragedy is I lost my brother-in-law, who was my primary partner, one of my best friends, and if not my best friend, and also the guy that was kind of helping me put all this together. This is his shop, and his company, which provides the trees, the lumber. He's got a great partner, Mark, who's being as patient as he can as we try to figure out how to split the company up. You lose somebody. Mike died of cancer. I won't get too much into that, just because that's his private business and his family's. And we're doing the best we can with a really bad situation. I will tell you that it was diagnosis to death was 45 days. So it was extremely sudden, unexpected, and tragic. It's the best way to put that. I am not quitting. I'm just getting started on this. Last video I got was the most successful video in my terms that I've had yet, most views. And that's encouraging. I'm super happy about that. I'm heartbroken, as is my sister-in-law. Our whole family are completely destroyed by this. But again, moving forward, my goal is still the same. I want to develop this into a business and a YouTube channel that generate income so that I can do what I love, which is filmmaking, along with another thing I love, which is woodworking. And I'm going to combine those two and try to make my living that way. I'm a commercial filmmaker. I've been doing that for about 20 years, and it's been a good run. And I still do that. It's 2/3 of my time. The other third of my time is here in the shop or in the edit, working on content for these things. Hopefully, I can get to the point where this content is all I generate, and this is what I love to do. I'm going to try to do more insightful videos and give you a better idea of how I'm building things and how they're coming out and how I originate those ideas. I'm going to do original designs. I would love to get to the point where I'm, as prolific and as accomplished as Cam at Blacktail Studios or the Four Eyes. Those are the guys that I really kind of look to as an example of where I want to go. Obviously, our shop is a little more rustic than theirs. The wood that I cut and the projects that I do are certainly more rustic. I'm not embarrassed by that. I'm actually quite proud of what I've pulled off this far. There's got to be more focus and concentration on getting projects turned out, and we've got to be able to sell these things and make money at it. None of this is free. Right now, it's on loan, for lack of a better term. I've brought in a lot of my own personal tools. I've had unbelievably generous people, including my father, my buddy Randy, who have all given me tools, just given me tools to use. I've got to get them up and running. That's probably the next part of content that I'm going over is I've generated enough income now that I can run some electricity. I've got to get 220 to this side of the shop for our big bandsaw and our planer. Getting those up and running are kind of crucial. They're older pieces, but there's no reason they shouldn't work for what we need to get accomplished. And as we develop, we'll develop better tools, better skills, and get better at it. So today, we will cut a pecan tree. Let me give you a little background on that one. My wife and I purchased her grandmother's home in East Fort Worth a couple, 3 or 4 years ago. And it had a pecan tree in the back that was getting old. It was starting to self-prune and fall on people's houses, not ours, our neighbors, so it was a priority. Had it chopped down, and I am going to take portions of that tree, and I'm going to attempt to build a mantle for our house, so it's a bit of a legacy piece for that fireplace. And I'm super excited to do it. So the cut that we're going to show you today is cutting out that mantle. And there's some trials and tribulations with that cut, getting back into the mill and getting things set up. Looking forward to it, actually can't wait. I've also got some ideas on trying to do an elevated charcuterie. Again, this is part of that leveling up thing. So a lot of people could do cutting boards, a lot of people could do charcuteries, a lot of people could just take a slab, throw some oil on it and call it a charcuterie. I'm gonna try to do something a little more elevated and a micro scale development of like a Blacktail Studios desk or something like that. Or I should say 4 Eyes, more in line with his design standards and look and a feel. Those guys inspire me. It's a bit of an idea to create something in homage to what those guys do. Certainly not steal, certainly not compare myself to those. And if I keep it in small enough scale, and we're talking about a charcuterie that's this big, you know, as opposed to a 500-pound desk, I want to apply those same principles in the build and the design that he does with his desks and then grow from there. So baby steps, for lack of a better term. If you guys have ideas of things that I can do, small projects that might generate revenue, please let me know. I'm sure the first thing that comes to your mind is like, how is he going to make any money off these one-off projects? That's a good question. A lot of this is me developing skills. If spring comes around, you know, or late winter next year and I'm just building planters and birdhouses, that's what we'll do. We have the materials to do that. The other thing I want to do is get into the point where I'm taking the wood that is custom cut for the most part and getting it out to hobbyists. So I'd like to sell some of the stuff we have. I need to sell some inventory. And a lot of that needs to be dried. So I'm going to work with woodsheds, see how they can help me, how I can help them, make something happen. Again, this is all on kind of I am shop poor. I've got all the tools. I've got, you know, a lot of the time. I don't have the income or the money to put into that. It's just my luck I would record this right when they're mowing next door. So anyway, that's the plan. Let's go cut that pecan tree. Okay, so here's what's happened. I knew this tree was going to be problematic and there was probably going to be some metal in it. Seeing how it came out of my backyard and was my wife's grandmother's tree, had a clothesline around it. I thought I could probably get through the thing without too much damage. It's now 2.5 blades in. The last cut I did after I hit the metal, I knew I'd hit the metal and I knew it was going to be a bad cut. But honestly, I refueled and kept the blade in and powered it through. I didn't want to waste another blade having to get to it and finish the log off. We know we're gonna have to cut this down. This thing is so wet. It is extremely green. So there's gonna be a lot of material changing as this thing goes through its drying process. It's probably gonna have to sit for 2 months just on a pallet before I can even get it to a dry kiln. That said, I know what I want to do with it. You know, we want to make the mantle out of this piece of wood, possibly another one, but I think I can get still more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this back to this side down, and I'm going to try to get that mantle right off the top of here and essentially miss this piece of metal. I think this is that cable. I'll be honest with you, I didn't think, you know, old telephone cable or something would be that detrimental, but it completely destroys the blade. You know what? I am not a sawmill that does only sawmilling. I'm trying to create hobby woodworking wood. And so I'm going to treat every order like a custom order. This is absolutely a custom order. You kind of do what you have to get the art, for lack of a better term, out of the wood that you're given. And since this is a sentimental piece of wood that came from the backyard and has got 100 years worth of family history to it, it's important to us that we get it. So I'm going to have to eventually, what I'm thinking is if I flip this over and cut here and remove this lower half, hopefully missing the cable, which I think comes out and terminates coming out of the log. I'm going to turn it over one more time. If I can cut that off, and then I'm going to dry it as it is at that point. We'll dry it. It's gonna, like I said, this thing is so wet. It's gonna take forever, and then it's gonna have to go to a kiln. But I really don't want to lose too much more material if I can help it. I may spend a few minutes digging on this just to see if I can see where it goes. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, I think if this thing got cut off here and terminated at that end, that might give enough product. All that said, I still have another piece of this tree out there. So if all goes haywire and I just can't get it done with this one, then I've got some options. The other option is I could chew off, thinner planks on this and build my mantle out of essentially making a box. So that's an option too. But first I'm going to flip this over, see if I can't get around this, and then dry this bad boy down to a usable piece of art that's going to look fantastic in our buffalo. I'll explain that later. And as you can see, I ultimately decided to go ahead and dig out whatever this metal was. It wasn't the cable that was in there before. It might have been a spike or a nail that was holding that cable in. It may have been like a clothesline or something. So digging in there, and sure enough, nice big spike nail in there, which will absolutely destroy your blades, and it did. Once I got this out, left a pretty good knot hole in there, but that's what it looked like. Go ahead and swap the blade out again, and we'll get cranking here and get this thing cut down.